Yo, what's up, guys? It's James with you today, and this is what they call a vlog, which is what you're talking about, stuff about myself. So, this is going to be my first vlog. Um, I mentioned on Instagram that I wanted to do a story talking about what it's like in my life in a more personal perspective, so that's why I'm doing this video. And so yeah, I'm just gonna get right into it. I got my laptop right here with a fun little list that I can share with you guys what I want to say. If you guys can see a little bit, it has the 116 logo on it. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. All right. So I have it right here. What it's like to have autism, or in my case, it's called Asperger's syndrome, which is a high functioning part on the autism spectrum. Um, what it's like to have it in a Christian's perspective. Um, so if I wanted to go right into the cons, I would say, it has like in many situations I need more time to like process things, or like in conversations I have to think about what I want to say. Um, like if I like right now I'm in college and I have like a thing where when it comes to like having tests and exams that I'm allowed to have more extended time to really work on my tests, so I can really really think and be able to do my best, let's just say, instead of always having like this rushing anxiety and feeling, just having go 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 go. um, uh, so the next I have are pros. I would say one of the pros is more, one of my more Christ related things, that it has really, since things are really hard and during all these hardships I have, it really it has really built me up over these last 16 years, I would say, when I really started to learn more about Jesus when I was around 4. That's when I asked him as my Lord and Savior. So, um, yeah, the pros is that it really has, built that relationship up, and that is definitely one of my strengths, that I have a really um, strong, um, I would say, just a really strong bond, like always defending Christ and always doing my best to live as an example for him. Um, so with this autism and with being, a Christian, um, I wrote down, how have people really treated you with this? Well, it has been really a challenge, I should say. It's not been a very easy situations. Like when it was at my church, I wasn't really accepted. I was like the odd man out. People didn't really like me. They got picked on, name called, you know, put in different categories because, one, I was, socially different, and my relationship with God was a little different than typically theirs. So I would say it was really two factors that really blended in how I really became the odd person, or the, how I like to say, the misfit compared to everybody else. So I have next right here a more example of like I have over time come up with like an idea of how to really explain you know, what it's like to have an autistic brain, and I compare it to like what it's like with computers, because I really like computers and technology, so it just kind of fit in. So it's like think about the computers we have today, like, you know, Apple's MacBooks, or, you know, the fastest Windows computers, anything, whatever you have, you know, that's really fast, that desktop computers. And you know how they just install things really fast, and their processors are just going, and you know, you can open up an application and it'd be opened up instantly, and that's a comparison. While with me, it's like I'm one of those old computers back in the day where it takes a long time to turn on. Um, or if you want to go like with with my processor, it's like, you know, it takes me a while longer to really get things. So I had to take more time to process. Like, I would say a comparison would be like in the old computers, you know, if you want to download a picture, it would slowly go down, go down, go down, go down, go down, and then you have the picture. So with the new computers these days, all of a sudden, poof, you got a new picture. And with me, it takes me a while to finally get down to that thing where I get the full image, and I'm like, oh, I finally understand this, and I finally get the full picture. Another thing would be like connections. It's like a computer, you know, it's connected to like the Wi-Fi, the best, let's say the best Wi-Fi you have, and you know, you're just able to get this information instantly and this information instantly, and just rolling in, and it's easy for you. And um, I would say for me, it's almost like the old days where you have, you know, the old, um, what do they call it? The old dial-up type of internet connections where it's like, you know, all that fun jazz. So it takes a while to actually pull that information out from outside sources, and then again going with the processing of, you know, be able to gather that information and be able to really get that full picture. And you know, it takes time for me, um, and you know, like even in my work situation, I'm I am an order selector, and which means that I go through a bunch of aisles and I grab boxes, put them on pallets, and get them all wrapped up. And while I'm doing this, I have to look at a bunch of stickers with and a computer that I have to see if I picked the case, if it's like I have to grab something in the case, like someone wanted just a small amount of this. And so before I began one of my whole trip right here, we would call it my whole batch. Um, I'll look through all the stickers so I can see how am I going to, you know, how am I going to strategize of where I'm going to be putting boxes. Like, since I've been there for a while, I know where the most fragile boxes are, so I sometimes like leave them on the top, and then you have like a different bunch of places that each of these boxes are going to, so you have to put them in their own zoned area, and so you got to plan all that. And for me, compared to all the others that work in my place, it takes me a little while longer to finally put that all together and to finally make what I like to call a masterpiece, and then just wrap it all up and get it in the truck, and it's all set to go. Um, One thing I would like to say, like, that even though my processors and my connections are not as strong as many of the, you know, other people or other great computers out there, that I feel like with me though, that I personally have, you know, a bigger memory. So it's like, if these computers these days have like, I don't know, 200 gigabytes, you could almost say that I would have like a terabyte or 2 terabytes worth of memory. So it's like if I, I just have this long-term memory and I just remember a lot of, a lot of things. So as soon as I'm able to finally download all this information and be able to process all this information, it's just can be in there, if I allow it. So that's just a lot of memory I'm able to do. Um, Whatever comes in my mind next. Um, I mentioned the school. I mentioned my work. In a like a social area, that would be another area where I would say it's a struggle. I mean, like right now, you see right now that I'm able to talk more at a fluid pace as best as I can. But in like some conversations, it's like someone's talking and I don't know what to say, or if I say something, it'll be like completely awkward and they're just giving me weird facial expressions and I don't know what to do. It's like all of a sudden I'll go back into like a little shell and it just really kind of puts me down where I just don't want to talk anymore. But other times, like if I really get into a subject, I'll go on and on and on and on about that subject. I don't know. It's the social part is a really complicated part, um, that has been a really huge challenge in my life. And during high school, I was able to get better and better and better because before I was homeschooled, so I didn't really get that chance to really be able to socialize with people much. So in high school, I did like football, wrestling, and got more involved with being with a bunch of people, and which was both, a huge positive, but also had a lot of negatives that during high school that was a really hard time for me, and it really opened my eyes to see how sad people can, how the world can be and how low people can bring themselves, and it was just really sad. And that was a time I really lost a lot of people I really wanted to have friendships with, but it didn't really turn out the way I really wanted them to. And now they went their path, and I still am doing my best to stay on the path where where God wants me to be, and that's this has been like a main reason why I've been doing all these Instagram posts and just saying how this has been and how friendships have been, and you guys can check those all out, about examples I have left if you want to take the time for that. So next on my list is how has God helped me with my autism? To be honest, I feel like because I have that deep relationship, deep connection, deep relationship with Him, that He has actually given me my voice. Because a lot of people who have autism, like I just quickly mentioned, is socially I have a hard time talking. So I feel like with God, He has really given me this strength, this courage to be really able to talk, especially about Him, or like at work where people are really, really immoral, which is very sad for me because working in that kind of environment is really hard for the I would like to say the Christian misfit, or me as an autistic person, and it can be a really huge challenge trying to be a witness to them when they're all into the partying life, the drinking, smoking, the sex, and whatever, and trying to be, an example there is like a little light in a big environment of darkness. So with that, that's where I say I feel like I got my courage of speaking to those people every opportunity that I can, to really witness to them of what it's like being, you know, a Christ follower, and bringing them closer to, you know, you know, being trying to bring them as close to Christ as I can with giving them as much, information that I can, because it's only with God that they can finally make that connection with Him. I'm just, like a little, like little, like saying, here you go, I'm pushing you in the right direction. You just got to start walking it, and you got to really think about it. Just go. So in situations like that, I pray for God to keep on continuing giving me strength, because I need a lot of strength, especially when this whole life that I've been through, it's been very lonely. So it's like I very am dependent on God giving me that strength, because I have no one besides, I would say, my family to really turn to in cases where I don't have really a really friendship group besides you as my supporters, viewers, um, you know, and yeah, I just really need Him to really give me more of that strength. So that's why, yeah, I just kind of mentioned that, I really want, some time for God to really bring more Christian brothers, who are really close by me to help me out, because I can't really, you know, build who I am without, really good other Christian followers. It's like I can only do as much as I can with God and my family, but it's like I don't have that extra outside, resource of friends or helping me to grow and to encourage and to, help me when I'm in a bad time, or if I'm losing where my faith is, something like that. That's, you know, just to be there when I really need it, and to be good friends, and yeah, everything a friend, well, my definition of a friend, really is someone who's loyal, there for you, a Christian follower, and someone doesn't follow the ways of the world, but really is really more with Christ, and you know that's the kind of friends I'm looking forward to, and they're just really hard to find, especially with me being autistic. It's those friends are even ultra rare, it seems to be, and that's why I'm still looking, still praying for them to come along, and you know another thing where I kind of like, another biblical figure I look up to, is the prophet Jeremiah. Why why would I say the prophet Jeremiah? Well, he was a prophet during the time before Israel was going to be taken over by their enemies, and he was warning them that they needed to turn away, the people of Israel, that they needed to turn away from their ungodly lives, worshiping these other gods, their immorality, and he was telling them, you got to turn away from these things, or else, God's going to send judgment on you. And how I really relate to Jeremiah is that the other, religious, you know, the religious faction, or you know, the the you could almost say, like, probably like an example, like the Pharisees, the really religious people of that area, were like, telling Jeremiah that he was nuts, like everything's fine, and no one listened to him. So I feel like I can really relate to Jeremiah, how people don't really listen to my warnings of what they're doing is going to lead them down to a path of destruction. And Jeremiah kept, he kind of mentioned how, there was no way how he could just not tell people about Christ, and how it was like a fire in him that blazes. And a while ago I kind of did like something like that, and like I made like a poem, a rap, whatever, in one of my Instagram posts, kind of talking about that. um, so I feel like I really need to, I have a fire in me that is blazing, and I need to share that with people. um, and Jeremiah kept on persevering, and that's another thing I keep on doing, keep on persevering. And another thing that says like he was really weeping for those people, and it really relates to me because in high school I was really, I was weeping and mourning for people I truly cared about, hope, praying for them to turn away from this worldly lifestyle. And you know it was a hard time. And you know um, so that's an example of why I really relate to Jeremiah. And that even though if people will not necessarily listen, it still brings me, joy to at least share it with people. And even if I don't really bring people closer, guys, like I'm still planting that seed for other Christian followers to continue on the growth, the watering, and whatever, to really help those people grow and finally see the light. So that's I so I still have my part, and I hope that you know I just am able to get somewhere with those people, and just like I said, plant that seed. Um, yeah, another thing I just want to, with these videos and my Instagram posts, I want to continue being a huge example and encouragement to you guys. That is a huge thing for me, because I really care about you guys very deeply, and this is why I'm making this video for you, so you can really get a more personal effect of who I am, what I go through, and see more facial, I do my best to show more facial expressions so you can really see it and hear it in my voice, just really see what I go through. So for ending comments, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. As I can see, I'm like 24 minutes in, so maybe I'll be done with this in just a few more minutes. And even though none of you are really, live nearby me or whatnot, I just want to say you guys have all been a huge, 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 huge support group to me, and I really, really, really appreciate it a lot. I've enjoying, you guys liking my, reading my posts on Instagram, liking them, and then what I really love is when you really comment on them and saying, how has it, how is, how you relate to it, if, what you liked about it. And some of you even direct message me and, saying, this is, something I'm really going through too. And, you ask me for prayer, encouragement, and, it's like we're going through this journey together. It's like, I don't know if you heard of the Pilgrim's Progress, but we're like going through all these challenges, and, we're going through all the world just to finally reach the final goal, which is in the end when the Lord calls us home. And yeah, and then finally this long earthly vacation. This is what I like to think of it. And when you go on vacation, you get very tired, and you feel like you need a vacation from your vacation. So I feel like this is one terrible vacation, and I can't wait to finally go home, which is to be with God in heaven when time comes when He calls us. The next thing I want to do is a special mention to the people who have, that are at the top of my head right now that I quickly written down on here, of who have been like a huge encouragement, who have really been following every single post I've ever, done, and, been really talking with me, and I've been talking with them, and, we've just been building each other up, giving each other strength and hope, and giving each other words of encouragement and support. And those people I want to quickly mention, and they're on Twitter and Instagram mainly, but I want to do a special thank you to you guys. It is Austin, Brody, Alicia, Avery, Nathaniel, and Casey. Those are the 6 people I want to quickly mention. And if I may not have mentioned, you specifically, I just want to, let you know that you guys, I really, really deeply care about all your support, no matter, because I know there are a few more out there. But if I didn't mention you, just know that I really do, care, and really a huge shout out. I mean, godly shout out to you. God knows who you are. And just want to say very much a huge thank you for, doing this, and support, liking, and, following me on this journey. Um, so, thank you again for enjoying this video, or vlog that they call it, and I would really, and yeah, in listening to my life story. Lastly, I would love for you guys to leave any comments that you have, either at the end of this video, or direct message me on Instagram, because I would love to hear what you guys got, your feedback. Another thing is, if I would love for you guys to like this video, so I know that this has helped you understand me just by a little bit more. Being able to see my, me living as a Christ example, or like how I'm going to name this video, being autistic in a Christian's perspective. And yeah, so if you would do any of those things, like, and comment, that would be awesome. And another thing is, I'm planning, sometime in the future, doing more videos like this to give you, more, of what I go through, even on a daily basis. This was just like a summary of what I've gone through in just, a short period of time, in 30 minutes, and just a short period of what's gone through my life. So if you want to see more of those videos, hit the subscribe button, and so you can get a notification of when I upload my next video. Otherwise, I'll also, mention on Instagram, hey, I posted another video, so please go and watch it, and hope it encourages you. So that's really all I have. So once again, I want to thank you for watching, and I will hopefully be talking to you guys soon. And lastly, I just want to say God bless, and hope you all have a great rest of your day. Okay, thank you.